It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the January New Year 2024 edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my good friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We learn how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. Broadcasting from the Safe Harbor Wills and Trust Studios. Here we are, new year and a new Steve. Well, not new enough.
No,
still the old Steve.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at a new Tom. Tom, you've dropped a few cookies or pounds or cheesecake or something here.
Well, you know we have to.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
But you do. You did. So you're certainly, how you feeling? You're looking good.
Well, thanks.
For you.
Yeah. I don't like to talk about it much because, it kind of jinxes it. I don't know.
Oh, don't. That's a bunch of
wrong.
I'm good. Let's walk under a ladder, kick a cat, break a mirror, and say, you know what, you're doing the right things, and you're seeing it. So
yeah.
You to help you sleep?
Yeah, it helps the sleep too.
Does it?
Yeah, I don't know how people can be very, very heavy and not say, this is all that body shaming and everything. Mm-hmm. I think you should have shame. And when I take my shirt off and I look and I go, I'm shameful. I should have never got this big. And it makes it very hard to move, your energy down and all that. So just eating right. And you know what you eat wrong. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah, you and I do.
You know what you eat wrong. Yeah. So you just eat right.
But you make a decision. Do you kind of go,
you have to.
And
this wasn't, just to be clear, folks, this wasn't one of those resolutions because I don't believe in
No, you were starting before that.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Right, but so what did Popeye say? I can't stand it no more? Was that you?
Right. Yeah, that was it. You have defining moments like when we went to get the new coat and I couldn't find a coat even in a 2X and it wouldn't go around my belly. And I was like, what is going on here? This has got to stop.
Right. Well,
this is
good move.
Right.
You're setting a good example for all our fat listeners.
Yes. Now, maybe I can influence all 4 listeners.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, we've got a great show for you all lined up. Matt Schwebka is going to be here. He's the Customer Experience Manager at Syracuse Hancock International Airport. Lisa Romano-Moore will stop by. She's the Executive Director of the Onondaga Historical Association. Jennifer Covert is the Executive Director of Meals on Wheels of Eastern Onondaga County, and we'll have a good conversation with her. Neil Prime, Neil, I've done that a couple times.
Neil Prime.
But
awesome.
There's 3 or 4 times that we've had him on. I've said that, Neil Prime. I don't know why.
It doesn't sound like an air name, like if you're
yes. I'm Neil Prime. And anyway, Neil Carr is the Vice President of Prime Heating and Air. And then we're going to talk with Eric Bohm. He is the owner of Full Phase Gutters, and he's going to bring his sales guy, Dave Ferguson. Now, you remember Dave, don't you?
Yeah.
He also has a home inspection business, so it'll be interesting to hear how that relationship started. And then Chris Farmer is the owner of F&F Bargains, and Mark Adler is the owner of Onondaga Flooring, all on the Local Show today. So we start by talking with Matt Schwebka. How are you there, buddy?
Doing very well. How's the weekend going for you guys?
Very good.
Never better.
Now, Matt here is... he's over at the airport, but you had an interesting life before the airport. So tell us what you did.
In a previous life, I was a TV meteorologist for 13 years. My wife also. She was also a TV meteorologist for 13 years.
Out.
And we were head-to-head in the mornings for almost 10 years.
In what market?
Syracuse.
Oh, no kidding.
In another life, I was Matt Stevens.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
You think that's interesting, Tom?
Well, for me, I'm a broadcast guy. Now, he's a little bit younger than me, but
a little younger than Bud. about Henniger.
So are you full-fledged meteorologist or a weather guy?
Yep. Full-fledged meteorologist, bachelor's of science in meteorology, minor in mathematics, worked that gig for 13 years, and then had the fortunate opportunity to come to the airport authority and leverage the communications part of my life.
Yeah,
get a federal
really
job
cool,
with Benny's.
It's technically, we're a public benefit authority of the state of New York. So kind of sort of government, but behaving more like a business, which is actually, I think, very relevant to our discussion today.
Okay. Why?
Well, you're all about promoting local businesses and this, and we may be this quasi-governmental entity, but the reality is we behave by federal mandate much more like a business, or what's called a business enterprise fund, or a piece of government that has to behave much more like a business. It gives us more latitude when going out and negotiating contracts. It gives us the ability to streamline our finances. We behave a lot differently than say a department of the city of Syracuse.
So when there's a weather issue, are they like, hey, Matt, should we shut down 2-8 or not? Is there any of that going on, or do they probably anything?
Oh, they do. Oh, absolutely.
Really?
So
do you get to actually shut the runway down?
I do not have that power, but I inform those who do have that power if need be. Fun fact: you can't use salt on a runway or a taxiway. There's a violation of federal law that will corrode the you-know-what out of really expensive aircraft.
Oh, right. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So that's not happening. We have to lay down an absurdly expensive component called potassium acetate. So just to coat the runway, what last season, I don't know this season's pricing, but last season's pricing is something like $4 or $5 grand just to coat a runway with this stuff. So these are pretty noticeable decisions.
Yeah.
Not just going to throw it down with the chance of a little sleet.
No kidding.
So when did you stop looking at the time and temp? When did this transition into that? How long?
In 2018. 2018, left the business.
What affiliate were you on?
CNY Central. 3, 5, and 6 locally.
Great.
That explains why he's not familiar.
Well, I mean,
sorry, Andy. I did that for Andy.
Wayne was there, though, right?
Yes, I had the privilege of working along Wayne Mahar for many years.
Yeah. Okay. So, when you... Is your wife still working? That's what I want to ask.
She also left the business. She's with the Downtown Committee of Syracuse now.
Okay, great. Well, we'll have to have her on, too.
No, seriously. So is your schedule more reasonable now than it used to be?
It is. It's a lot more reasonable, a lot closer to what normal human sleeping patterns should be. But, still got to come in. I've just, for example, my direct supervisor was in at 4 o'clock this morning checking in on our concessionaires to make sure that they were open. We do, and I'm sure you've heard some of my colleagues who have been on this show previously say, we do something like 30 to 40% of our entire day's worth of business in an hour and a half, from like 4:30 to 6 a.m. It's just,
no kidding.
It's the nature of our airport being what's called heavily banked. A bank is simply a cluster of flights. We've got 3 distinct banks that go out, and our biggest banger of the day is from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. That's
Isn't that interesting?
Well, that's because we're up here, Tom.
Yes.
Nobody goes from here to anywhere important. They go to somewhere else and then fly to somewhere important.
That's not totally true. We have 30 nonstop destinations now, so some more important destinations.
Well, how about this? All international flights aren't going to come out of here.
True. At the moment, correct.
They're going to go to a hub somewhere.
Right.
But how many airlines?
Right now, 9 airlines, with the addition of Sun Country most recently.
That doesn't sound like what I would want to get. Sun Country. That sounds like a pickup truck with wings. What is Sun Country?
Sun Country focuses largely on leisure travel, and a perfect expose of the difference between like a Sun Country and a Delta was actually their very close to each other announcements of them bringing back Minneapolis-St. Paul nonstop service Syracuse to MSP. So first, Sun Country Airlines announced earlier this year. Big fanfare, a lot of excitement.
Does anybody go to? Who goes to Florida? That's the only place I want to go. Really.
Well, all you got to do is look at our destination map, and you'll see a lot of our partners travel nonstop to Florida.
Because we went to St. Petersburg here a few months ago.
Very nice.
Direct flight.
Yes.
I did a direct flight to Orlando.
And we have multiple carriers. We jokingly refer to Orlando as the endless pit of capacity. No matter what size aircraft that these airline carriers will throw on a route, it gets filled up. That is the number one destination, hands down, at our airport.
Isn't that something? And I had to remind, I'm definitely afraid of flying.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Yeah. I had to go talk with Linda and have her talk me off the wall a couple of times. But I did it. And, hey, it was was a decent flight.
But now that
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Now that Tom lost his weight, he doesn't need the seatbelt extender anymore, which is a real threshold.
Poor guy, you're beating up bad here.
I don't have to buy 4 seats anymore, which is very nice. I like that. So the customer experience manager, is that a new position or has it always been around?
That is a new position. So my prior title was marketing and communications specialist, handling all communications for the airport, all marketing.
Wow.
This is an extension of that role, taking everything that I do, handling all communications, serving as a brand ambassador for the airport. So overseeing all our volunteer programs, a myriad of customer experience
Did they
initiatives.
double your pay?
Yeah,
They did not.
So Tom, let's keep this guy around another set.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll do that. Matt, you can stay?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Okay, we'll have you up. Next, we'll continue our conversation with Matt Schwebka, Customer Experience Manager at Syracuse Hancock International Airport. Stick around. You're listening to The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it again. You're listening to The Local Show on 570 WSYR with Tom and Steve in a brand new year, 2024. I do know Tom.
Tom.
Yes.
We get Matt and the airport people to hang around here. You might become a frequent flyer. What do you think the chances?
I'd love to be able to do that. You know, I thought about that because my wife is a traveler. She was born in England.
Okay.
And my father-in-law is from Ireland. So when he was in the service, that's when my mother-in-law and he met. So anyway, my wife has been over to England a couple times, over to Ireland and the whole bit, and she'd love to do that. And she'd love to just hop out a plane with me and go to Florida. And it's tough for me.
It's very understandable. I will say nonstop is definitely more going to be your friend.
Yeah, that would be my friend. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, there is a lot of anxiety in going through an airport.
There can be. And that's where I know we talked last segment about this, where my role comes into play. Okay. We don't want the airport to just be this thing you have to get through to get to where you want to go.
Intimidating.
Exactly. It is very, joking aside, it truly can be terrifying for people to go through this experience. So my job is to say, okay, your journey, your fun begins when you get to our airport.
Yes.
And we're going to improve that experience along the way. Not every component is going to be a blast of fun, but we're going to what we can control, we're going to improve upon that. From the second you step on our airport property to going through security to I'm sure you've heard some of my colleagues speak before about a new all-inclusive lounge. I mean, you can literally start your vacation if you want the second you pass
I don't
security.
know what's that all about.
So our partners at the Escape Lounge, they opened up over the summer. And it's an all-inclusive business lounge. So all you can eat, all you can drink.
Tom can't do those things anymore.
Ooh, I know, really. I can drink. That much I can do.
It's an elevated experience. It's tucked away from the masses. Anybody has access to it. That's the key point. So there are some people who, if you have a certain credit card or a certain mileage plan with an airline, you do get complimentary access. But anybody can pay $40 or $45 and have a very different experience from what you may associate with an airport.
Instead of just like waiting with a bag of jerky for your flight to be called, this is going to be
if the jerky gets through TSA. It's not less than 3 ounces of it.
Right. But very different experience. And then not just this Escape Lounge, we're looking at concessions offerings elsewhere in the airport and seeing how we can improve them, offer more. When you go into our airport at those banks that we talked about before, there are lines. There are significant lines, which tells us, hey, we got to increase our offerings. So we're actively pursuing that. I technically fall under the commercial development department at the airport, so we're actively pursuing that. And I think there'll be some fun announcements coming in the next couple of months.
Would it help if there was like a 90-year-old woman playing an organ at the bottom of the stair? Would that add anything to anything?
We're obviously referring to your mother, Gloria.
Hey, okay,
simply wonderful. She is such an addition to the customer experience at the airport. And I'm not just saying this because I'm sitting at the same table as you right now, but people have come, especially frequent travelers, have come to associate her rocking on that $250,000 grand piano, Yamaha grand piano sitting in our grand hall right now. And just they associated with her. They join her. They will often join her in either singing hymns of praise or literally sit next to her and start jamming on the keyboard. I mean, it's nice, fantastic. She's been a wonderful addition.
Yeah, she's a pretty cool lady. So tell me more about because it used to be, and I don't know what it is now, that food was hard to find. That's what it felt. That's what it felt like, especially if you're
plenty of junk food, but not good, decent food. Right?
Accurate, very accurate, and that has been, in my opinion, a significant upgrade that's transpired very, very recently, both pre and post security. Pre-security, believe it or not, is one of the most challenging things in an airport like ours. What we're called a small hub international airport. It simply means we have X amount of passengers per year, and we're technically a port of entry. We don't currently have any commercial service international flights, but we very well may in the future. So pre-security checkpoint, it's tough to get concessionaires to staff those because in a post 9/11 world, everybody rushes through TSA checkpoint, they get to their gate, and then most people by definition are gate huggers. They stay as close to the gate as possible. Ooh, I see a restaurant nearby. It's within earshot.
I do exactly what you said. I want to get on that side of the TSA. I want to get through, and then I feel like, okay, I can breathe.
Yes. So at an airport like ours, however, we're very unique. Classic saying in airport management, you've seen one airport, you've seen one airport. That's just it. We have what's called a massive catchment area, or area that we pull passengers from. So there are often people who come in on their flights, they get their luggage. It's like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and nothing's open around here, whether it's a Mickey D's or whatever. So that's where this new automated retail lounge pre-security checkpoint comes into play, offering full, nicer meals, not just stuff out of a vending machine. It's actually higher end automated retail, and you can actually have a decent meal at 1 o'clock in the morning if you choose.
Right. And I'm trying to think of the Orlando airport. We got in at a weird time, or when we were leaving, it was late. And they didn't have a lot open even there. That was tough.
It's a big challenge. And that's, again, where these automated retail options come into play.
Right. Well, you have a Valium dispenser for me anywhere.
Yes.
Or now that pot's legal.
I was going to say,
if you'd like to responsibly enjoy a beverage or two, we have plenty of opportunities for you to do that in the airport.
There's that.
So what do we have to look forward to at the airport? Anything's changing?
Oh, a lot of things are changing. Our airport is both literally and figuratively going to be growing. We're right in the middle of updating what's called our master plan. A master plan is a 20-year vision of how an airport has to develop in order to meet the needs of the community. And it's a whole combination. It takes years to update your master plan. It's very, very elaborate. And the biggest things that are coming out of this is going to be literal expansion of said airport. We have multiple bump outs it's all public knowledge. And,
so is this just like the terminals get longer? Is that what you're saying?
We're bumping out portions of it to accommodate not only more seating, but to actually take better advantage of the gates that are there. There are technically some gates right now at our airport that are of minimal use to us because of the way they're positioned. You bump out the terminal, you can actually use them. So we're first taking advantage of the space we actually have by just doing some minimal bump outs. Bigger picture, you hear a lot in the news about eVTOL, UAS, all these buzzwords, all about autonomous flight, drones, all these advanced air mobility.
That makes me feel good.
Our airport, something kind of cool.
Yes,
next time you're on an aircraft, keep an eye peeled.
It'll be a while for him, but I'll look for it.
Are you familiar with the MQ-9 Reapers that are partners at the 174
sure. I've seen those,
There are pilots in the National Airspace System who come to Syracuse, and they are just astonished. They look ahead out of their cockpit windows, and you can actually see them with their cell phones out safely, because somebody else is driving the aircraft. I want to point that out. Safely taking photos of this thing. This doesn't have a human in it ahead of them, that is taxiing out just like a normal aircraft. And that's one of the biggest things I think you're going to notice, an increase in UAS, uncrewed aerial systems, AAM, advanced air mobility, all that. We're actually incorporating it into our master plan. So this is a fascinating infusion.
Tom looks terrified.
Of commercial service and UAS.
That won't be for passengers. Well, it's probably for cargo.
In a first, very accurate, very accurate. Right. So initially, we think the first path forward is cargo. Because let's be blunt. I know this is a little crass, but let's be blunt about it. If you're going to make some mistakes, let's make it with an Amazon package first. Then, in a future world, I don't think it's unreasonable for you to order an Uber on your phone, and a quadcopter comes and picks you up and brings you to the airport.
That's kind of neat.
Wow. No, that is very cool. So lots of airlines going lots of places compared to the airport that was there, Tom, when we were kids.
Yes.
It was, pretty basic.
Yes, it's very different.
It's very different. Parking seems to be a challenge a little bit over there.
Parking is always going to be a challenge at an airport like ours. Again, you heard me mention the vast catchment area. People aren't catching an Uber from Ogdensburg. They're going to drive and they're going to park. Right. So we actually have an abnormally high amount of parking demand. Just to give you some perspective, industry standard for an airport our size, we should have something like 3,000 to 4,000 parking spaces. We have 6,000 parking spaces, over 6,000, and we do routinely come close to filling them up, especially during peak volume times.
That's incredible.
So it's an interesting place to fly out of.
Matt, you're really well spoken. I like to have you on all the time. You want to co-host a little bit? Because Steve takes a bunch of vacations.
I'm planning one now, just to be clear. I fly a lot, Tom.
I like Matt.
Appreciate you having it. Thank you so much, guys.
So will you come back, or do you hate us?
Hate is such a strong word. Yeah. Why would you say that?
Yeah, I know.
We're getting ghosted, Tom. I can feel it.
Customer experience manager and doing a great job at it over there at Hancock International Airport, Matt Stevens, or Matt Schwepka. Schwepka. Is that Polish?
It is.
It is Polish.
It certainly is.
Very nice. So do you make traditional guamki and things like that? Or?
I do not make it, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, great food.
Now available at the vending machines at the Syracuse International Airport. Yes.
The Polish touch, brought to you by Schwepka.
All right, coming up next, we're going to talk with Lisa Romano-Moore. She's the executive director of the Onondaga Historical Association, and we'll have a nice conversation with her on The Local Show on 570 WSYR. Stick around.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back, and welcome into 2024 with Tom and Steve. This thing is called The Local Show, otherwise known as The Steve Show.
So what'd you do on New Year's, Tom? Did you watch the ball fall, or did you make the ball fall?
We went out and we made a little money because we were at a wedding reception. And what a wonderful couple.
You and your wife?
Couple. Me and the wife and the son.
Yeah.
He saw his first, New Year's Eve thing. And they were a wonderful couple up at the Talwater Lodge that did a great job. And it was fun. Yeah. I won't do hotel things anymore for entertainment. But if somebody wants to book a wedding reception with me, I will do wedding reception New Year's Eves. At this age, we've been married 30 years and dated for 3. So, 33 years together, we'd rather go out and make a couple bucks and eat and drink for free rather than spend the money.
Well, the real question was fun. Were they fishing out in the river?
No, I don't think so. But, boy, just beautiful place. Yeah, we had fun. I really did. And the night went off without a hitch. You got respectful people. When you go to these hotels, people feel they pay $300-400, then they should be able to use the hotel as an ashtray. And they act that way.
So you were like the Tailwater up there.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Tailwater, great people up there, and and it's not too far away from home, right?
Right.
I think we got back easily within because I live in Cicero.
Yeah.
I think we were a half hour.
Well, Nicholas does the heavy lifting, right?
Yeah, well, he does. Yes.
So that's why you had a little surprise child just for such an occasion.
Just to carry our
big,
bags.
beastly, bulging character he is. Very nice. Lisa Romano-Moore is here. She's the executive director of the Onondaga Historical Association, and you can see them online at cnyhistory.org, cnyhistory.org, where history comes alive. I just made that up.
I'm sure it's been trademarked by somebody else.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How are you there?
Sometimes the staff come alive as well.
Did you have a nice New Year's? Do anything special?
It was very quiet. Very quiet. Last year I had a dinner party at my house. This year it's
cool.
A little more sedate.
Yeah. Well, safety is important for everybody.
I was just thinking, I came up with a fundraiser for you.
Oh, excellent.
What's it called?
Tell
It's
me.
Night at the Museum.
Night at the museum.
What if you did?
I know that's
What if you did a thing right?
Yeah.
Where maybe you have the movie, but you have a funder and you have people in period clothes and things. It could be like a party. Night at the museum. Wouldn't that kind of fun?
We did that before I was there. That was an event.
Nothing new under the sun, Tom.
No.
Yeah. But no, it's a great idea to bring back. Thank you.
Yeah. So people don't know, I don't think, that there are multiple locations for the Historical Association.
There are.
Go over those so everybody knows.
Of course, we have our downtown museum, our comprehensive history museum, which is 2 floors of exhibits, but 5 floors of stuff that is just
I didn't know that.
Incredible. Oh, yeah. Paintings and archives and photographs. And
you can still order pictures, right? Or
absolutely.
Get pictures.
Oh, yeah. Our research center is a very popular place. We do a lot of work with local companies and developers who are building new or renovating and restoring, buildings that are have a historic past.
Wasn't that cool?
So could I look up, if I wanted to get the address, 906 Spencer here at the Zoey Studios, I could look that up and maybe see if there's anything from 100 years ago, or doesn't it work that way?
Yeah. So we have the Sanborn insurance maps. So you can see what was on this spot. You can see who the neighbors were. I mean, our research center is the coolest place. People really should come and take advantage of it, because once you get in there, it's kind of a rabbit hole, and you just think, I got to look at this and this. We have block files on every city street, and not just Syracuse, the whole county. We have a lot of archives, a lot of information.
Oh, that's cool.
Photos,
we ought to go there and do
a little field trip?
Well, yeah, I think you had mentioned that before, too.
I love
And like everything else, it just fell on the floor.
I wrote it down.
You're officially invited now.
I wrote it down.
That paper will go in the trash after the show, just so we know.
How about we do the show from the research center?
Well, that's what he wanted to do. I would do that.
I think that would be
fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Or I could bring something in here and share it with you.
Either way.
I think on location would be great. The station loves it when we do that.
Tom says that until it has to happen, and all the technology to do that. But
next time I'll bring it to you. How about that?
There we go. So what's new, wild, and exciting in old stuff?
Oh, gosh. Well, old stuff is always exciting, isn't it? So, of course, we were talking earlier about the 100th anniversary of the Hotel Syracuse. 2024, it opened in September of 2024. We have a new exhibit about the history of the hotel on their mezzanine area. So if you were there for New Year's Eve, you may have seen that. But if you haven't been there, come and take a look.
Yeah.
We're talking with Ed Riley and his team about marking this anniversary this coming year. And plans are underway, but not quite ready for prime time. But we'll be getting news out shortly.
And I interrupted. Tom asked the question of the locations. Continue that. So there's downtown, and then what else is there?
We operate the Scano Great Law of Peace Center on the Parkway, and that's a Haudenosaunee heritage site and cultural center. And the mission site is still there, so in the warmer months, people can visit the center, but also see that other history about the Jesuits coming here in the 1600s. But the Haudenosaunee Heritage Site will be home to a new exhibit opening in 2025. We're hosting a Smithsonian exhibit about the history of democracy and its impact and its relationship to the Haudenosaunee
Very
influence.
interesting,
Yeah.
And then also you have the beer thing up at...
The beer thing. So the Bruseum up at Heritage Hill.
Okay, there we go.
And actually just this past year we launched Congress Light Beer. Of course, we launched Congress Beer about 5 years ago. We had a little party this fall at Willow Rock Brewing, our wonderful partners, and launched the second member of the Congress family with Congress Light. So check it out.
We're willing to sponsor Congress Fired beer. If there's anything, Tom, we'll stand and get some new people. Is that okay? So
sure.
Congress Fired
beer is on my diet.
Yes. So
I will do.
Proper vegetables, meat that needs to be
ruminated meat,
and
wash
beer.
it down with a Congress Light.
That's right.
So my favorite museum is the last one she's probably going to mention, which is the one at the airport.
The airport.
Oh, yes, in the airport.
Yes. Yeah, and I see you had Matt Schwebke here.
Matt just left.
Yeah, so the Aviation History Museum uses a lot of our collections. We have images, clothing, artifacts from, the heyday of when the airports were just getting going in this community. Some video screens, some really wonderful artifacts there. So
No, I love things that you know that, Tom. But you hate things that fly. I want to get in things that fly. All right. But wasn't there an old car back there too?
There is a Franklin automobile, yes. And the reason Franklin is there is the relationship between the Franklin and Charles Lindbergh and Amelia Earhart, who were really kind of the spokespeople for the car.
Oh, no kidding.
And the car has an air-cooled engine, which was an airplane engine, essentially. So that's the relationship with aviation. Yeah, and it was manufactured right here in where Fowler High School was. That was where the factory was. And a lot of industry is still around that supported the Franklin manufacturing.
Yep. Well, Bob Carbone at the Piano and Organ Center they've restored a player piano. I don't know if you know this, Tom. They've restored this old player piano that was actually made in Syracuse.
Oh, the Amphion.
Correct.
Yes.
And it was made where Spaghetti Warehouse
is. Yep.
And they are putting that on loan to them. Awesome. And that's going to happen here in the next few weeks. And it's totally restored. And it's a player piano, but also, if anybody can play the piano, it's lovely just to play.
Yeah. So we should talk to Bob Carbone because we could do a little bit of the history for them. So let's
do that. Because I was over there a few weeks ago, and he said, you got to look at this. And they, the family that had it, and they spent a lot of money to restore it. It is absolutely beautiful.
Right.
But I didn't know a player piano reel only lasts like a minute and a half.
Oh, really?
It's not like it goes on and on, and it's
kind of loops.
Yeah, and
it's hard to repeat it.
And it's up, and you have to sit there and pedal.
Yep.
But they have gizmos you can attach to pump it. But it can do that. But more importantly, just where you're going to walk into Spaghetti Warehouse, it's going to sit there, and people that can play can just play, like the airport.
Yeah.
If you want to play, you can play. Yeah. And it'd be kind of fun.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, there's a player piano up at Heritage Hill in
their
little store there. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Dan has a whole bunch of rolls. So yeah, it's very cool.
Oh, nice.
Very cool. History's everywhere.
Yeah, it really is good. And we're going to try and make that thing happen where we come over and
I would love
broadcast the show there and have people over. We'll have all sorts of vintage people.
We do have people who dress up, by the way. We do ghost walks.
Oh, yeah. So I like that, too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Lisa Romano-Moore right there doing wonderful things over there at the Historical Association. She's the executive director. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you both. It's always a pleasure.
Well, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Coming up next, we're going to talk with Jennifer Covert. She's the executive director of Meals on Wheels of Eastern Onondaga County on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back at it again. You found The Local Show, and we're so happy you did because, we didn't think you'd find us in 2024.
You don't know what you're saying. You're just making this stuff up, Tom.
I was thinking about when I do that, my speech affectations, because I'm a student of voiceover, and when I hear myself go ta, I was saying to my middle daughter who watches all these reality shows, these people, when they get mad at each other, they'll say, "Did you know he did da?" And it's like did is just did, D-I-D. There's no did da. But that's what they talk.
I was speaking with I got a call this week from an event planner, and she's from more the Rochester area, but she's a photographer and everything, and she does some high-end things.
I'm glad she called you.
And she called, and we were just talking about business, and I bragged about you, Tom. Oh. I said, you got to know, Tom's been doing this forever. And the night before, like a wedding reception, he's like, is it Smith or Smythe? He goes through these things. She goes, well, he's a real professional. I go, correct. And there's
why were you talking to an event planner?
She was calling. We were talking. It's a friend of a friend, and she was looking for some ideas and things. And and I was telling her about you. I said, but she was just like you in that space,
right?
And she goes, yeah, because there's zillions of people that just make it up and they don't care. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why I was bragging about you, Tom.
Wow, thanks. I appreciate that.
Which is what makes it fun here. When the show goes a little wonky, something doesn't happen right, he loses his mind, and I just sit here and smile.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you do that with everything. You're just a happy guy,
I am a happy guy.
But Jennifer Covert's here. She's another happy gal. She's the executive director of Meals on Wheels of Eastern Onondaga County. And, as we're all preparing the fatted calf and doing what we do, I think about you, now that I've interviewed you, several times. And it's what a daunting task you have to supply food for people with food insecurity or people who are, elderly. And, it's a big gig. Tell everybody what Meals on Wheels does specifically.
Yeah, it's a huge responsibility, but it's so important. We provide nutritious meals to homebound seniors and the disabled in Eastern Onondaga County. So there's a lot of folks out there that can't get out. They can't go to the store. They can't get their own food. And some of them can't make their own food, can't stand up long enough to cook a nutritious meal.
You're making me sad.
I'm sorry.
We'll
turn it around. It'll be fun, I promise.
Okay, keep talking.
Okay, I'll start with the sad. But the positive side is there's a place like Meals on Wheels,
right?
And we provide this wonderful service where we we have volunteers that go and deliver this delicious meal to a senior, but they also check on them and they're a friendly face and they visit and really just make their whole day, because sometimes we're the only people that they see.
Yeah. And people, I don't know if people recognize that it's no big deal if you forget the gravy or you forget a particular side dish or something like that. That's nothing compared to some of these people who are homebound and don't have family and all that, or you're disabled and you can't cook and all that. But you guys have a big emphasis on nutritious meals.
We do.
So, and tell us also, what are the areas that you serve?
We actually serve a pretty big area. I brought it with me because I still don't know all of the areas.
A big swath of land.
It's Eastern Onondaga County. So we've got East Syracuse and Jamesville, DeWitt, Fabius, Pompey, Lafayette, Tully, Bridgeport, Kirkville, Minoa. We've got a pretty large area, and believe it or not, there's other areas like outlining those areas that are not being served that we could possibly get into if we had the room. Right now, we just don't have the capacity to do that, but hopefully someday we will.
So capacity being drivers making the food, delivering it, the space?
Space is the biggest thing. We just can't accommodate any more food. We're in a church right now, so we're in a really small space. But we are planning a building expansion so that we can have that space and possibly in the future get into other areas and serve people who are not being served.
So you're making the food, you're not taking just canned goods.
Correct.
Or anything like that.
So it's like your aunts and grandmas in the kitchen cooking up some, home cooking.
Tom, just to be clear, Tom's aunts and grandmas all had a vowel on the end of their name. Do you have a few vowel enders?
Yeah.
She's full Italian as well.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I always want to jump in the kitchen and start cooking with them. That looks like fun.
Your family, your aunts and stuff, they wore the house dresses?
They did. They did wear the house dresses. My grandmother would just push food down my throat all the time. I wasn't even in the door, and she's like, "You want something to eat?"
Okay, time out. Yeah. What's a house dress?
Oh, I don't know. It's a house dress.
It's just
like
what you call it. Yeah, it's like a big thing that they wore while they were cooking in the kitchen.
So in the kitchen, was this like cooking clothes?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it just it was something you wore. They would wear it to bed. They would wear it when they woke up. It was just they were always in it.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
She's got a little more style than that. She's obviously the younger Italian.
No house dress for me.
Did you have you wandered into the kitchen? So you're like queen, head number one, big shot person. So. Do you get to touch the stuff, or you just like sit behind a locked door?
If they need me to. I mean, the thing that I go by for everybody who's at Meals on Wheels is we can all do everybody's job if we need to. So if the cook doesn't come in, then one of us is going to jump in and cook. If the dishwasher's not there, then one of us is going to do that. So I've definitely done it all. And we have a really big, nice crew, so they haven't needed me in the kitchen. But if they ever do, I'll go. We've got a couple hundred volunteers, and that's spread out all between the kitchen and the drivers. And we have like a couple different, shifts during the day, morning, early afternoon, that kind of thing. So, and it's like a well-oiled machine. They know what they're doing every day. They come in, they do it, and we do it all over again the next day.
It sounds fun to participate.
I think everybody there has a good time or they wouldn't be there. I mean, they're giving back and they like the mission for sure, but they like each other and they like to come in and, you know, they have a common goal and they have fun and then they go home. So yeah, it's fun.
Still looking for volunteers?
Yes. Right now we are looking for drivers, really looking for drivers.
So what do they need to, like, what hours do they need to set aside and how many days a week? Talk about the commitment to be a driver for Meals on Wheels in Eastern.
Yeah. I mean, it could be any commitment that you can give. Right now, our biggest need is substitute drivers, because this time of year, people are going away. If you're lucky enough to be a snowbird, you're going somewhere warmer and you're leaving us for a little while, and then we need somebody to step in and deliver. There's also a lot of illnesses going around right now, and people are calling every day saying, I'm not feeling well. And of course, we don't want them to deliver food to our seniors if they're not feeling well. So we really need substitute drivers, people that we could call last minute and say, hey, could you do this route? We don't have anybody to do it.
How many meals does one driver deliver?
Average is about, I would say 10.
Oh, okay. So it's not like 50.
No. I mean, I would say, 10 to 12. I mean, that wouldn't be meals. That would be 10 to 12 people, which would, times 2, because they get 2 meals each. You get a cold and a hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's fun and it's really rewarding, especially to deliver meals, because you're making a huge difference. And these people can't wait to see you. It's just, and you become close to them like they're family members. They give you presents at Christmas time because they're just so appreciative that you're there.
What's an average meal? Like, what is someone, if there is such a thing, like what would someone get?
Definitely not such a thing. There's such a big selection. But I would say, for lunch it's a little easier. To give you an example, you could get a salad, or you could get, chicken salad sandwich or tuna. And then you get fruit and there's vegetables, but the hot meals, there's a huge selection. Anywhere from macaroni and cheese to stew to chicken to burgers. I mean, really, there's a huge selection. And the nice thing is we give them a choice for the hot meal. We send them a menu. They get to pick between 2 meals. So they know they're going to like it because they're picking it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So do people donate with money? Is that the best way to
We love it when people donate with money. That's a wonderful thing for us. Go to the site. Every meal that goes out the door is partially subsidized. Mm-hmm. So everything's costing more than what we would ever charge anyways. So all of the money that is donated goes directly to our homebound seniors in our area. And that's not always the case. When people are asking for a donation, sometimes you don't know where your money's going. But if you donate to us, it's going right to our seniors. It's going right to their food. So we do accept donations of all kinds.
And it's a fun thing to do. So MOWEOC.
Meals on Wheels, Eastern Onondaga County.
.com.
Yep.
Correct? And they can give right there.
Absolutely. Yep. You can find out all about volunteering, meals, anything you really want to find out on the website. We have a Facebook page. Yeah, check it out.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's Jennifer Covert right there, Executive Director of Meals on Wheels of Eastern Onondaga County. Stick around. More to come on The Local Show.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Neil Carr. He's the Vice President of Prime Heating and Air. We'll talk with Eric Bohm. He's the owner of Full Phase Gutters, along with his friend Dave Ferguson, who is his lead salesperson. He'll be in here. And then Chris Farmer is the owner of F&F Bargains, along with Mark Adler, who's the owner of Onondaga Flooring, all in this hour of The Local Show. Stick around for that. It's going to be fun stuff. Neil Carr right now. How are you there, buddy?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
Oh, hanging right in there.
Absolutely.
Happy 2024.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you both.
Did you do anything special?
No, nothing crazy.
No?
Nothing crazy. Well, I did go out of town, visited with some old high school buddies for the night, and then came back and did a local
Where'd you go to high school?
Eve, down in Pennsylvania.
Ah, you okay. Yeah. Like which part?
Northeast.
Northeast.
Yeah,
so Philly?
South of Vestal.
Yeah. South. Well, everything's south of Vestal. Yeah. So north. Okay, like north, way up there.
Yeah,
okay,
west of Scranton. Okay, yeah, about an hour. So almost
not bad.
Just below the border.
Did you stop at Clark's Summit? We're going down because that's always the place to get gas and food.
Yeah. No, I go the other way. So I went. Heading towards like James Jamestown.
Oh, yeah, Jamestown.
On 17 and drop down. Yeah,
then you drop in.
Yeah. That's great. So it's always good to catch up.
You no female companionship? Your significant other wasn't with you?
Say that. Come on. Come on, Tom.
YouTube listeners can check out Neil's red face now on Zoey Advertising.
Caught me off guard on that one.
I didn't know if you just went by all by yourself and everything. Okay. Well, Prime Heating and Air, this is, prime time for you guys, right? Because it's the colder weather, but we haven't had any deep freeze.
No, temperatures starting to drop. Yeah. That's definitely picking up. Yeah.
So we've talked about this before. Yeah. Tell me about your hot water tanks.
Yeah.
You do them.
Yeah.
Is that part of the whole HVAC
hot water
world?
Tanks. Yep. Okay. In most places we could do hot water heaters. Standard tanks, tankless, a lot of it depends.
This is the time when the stuff goes awry.
Yeah, they go in cycles.
Does anybody plan though? Or do you just say, there's no hot water. There's water on the floor in the basement. Does anybody go...
95% of the time it's emergency change out. 5 or 10% may plan ahead, but
I'm going to plan ahead.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself in 2024, how can I help Tom?
Yeah.
I think that's really what you need to be.
So basically the same thing as 23.
It's got to be. Yeah. Well, mine we calculated before. Mine's over 20 years old, and they're only lasting 15 years to 20.
Yeah.
I'm on borrowed time.
Sure.
So we noticed that over the holiday things are not heating up.
Not as hot as
well, with 3 women in the house, that's got to be really work the shower on the.
It's only 2, but
Well, I was talking about you.
And Nicholas is a 17-year-old boy.
He takes time.
It's tough, and the wife's not happy about it. But I said,
we'll come out. We'll take a look. Yeah. We'll see what you got. We'll take care of you for sure. But as its temperatures are dropping, obviously equipment's working harder. So whether it's your heating system, hot water tank, all that stuff.
But it wasn't like a deep. Is that when things are going to break? People that haven't planned. I mean, when it goes down to 10 below, are you going to get 50 calls that morning?
Potentially, yeah. I mean,
that's when it happens.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's usually when it does, right? But it's pretty consistent. You start to get into the 30s, high 20s. Yeah. You start to see more service calls and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, that's fun stuff, man. So as far as any new rules, we're in 2024 now, and we've been talking about what Hochul has said in the past and all that. Is anything imminent that needs to be changed out? And
I'd say the biggest thing right now is National Grid has paused their rebate program.
They paused it. What does that mean? What were they doing?
So you used to be able to get, you were getting rebates, for the equipment. So if you put in a new high efficiency something, they were giving you a rebate of a certain amount of money.
Okay, yeah.
So that's been paused as of January 1st.
Why would they do that?
I don't know what the reasons are. It's just been paused.
Do they have a competitor? I'm unaware.
No, I don't know. I think they're either revamping the system or, So if you didn't apply for your rebate by December 31st, then you're not going to get it.
So you might lose a few $100 by not doing that, right? But but if you need to get it done, you got to get it done.
Well, sure, of course. But just letting the listeners aware that, if you're thinking of rebates, they're paused right now.
So if everything's working right now, we know it's going to get colder in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Is there anything that a mere mortal should look at and check?
Yeah, just keep an eye on, your system. If you start to hear anything different or feel anything different, try to be a little proactive. A lot of times we'll get a call, it's been doing this for 2 or 3 weeks and now all of a sudden it's not doing anything. So if you start to hear different noises or start to, things don't seem as normal as they normally do, then obviously, give us a call, be a little proactive, let us get in there and maybe catch something before it becomes something worse. Keep your filters changed as always and things like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
How does Prime Heating and Air prioritize customer satisfaction? Are there any specific initiatives, maybe customer-centric practices that are a part of your company?
So I would say, that's always our first thing. Getting to a customer's house that's the first thing on our mind is, we want to make sure we're greeting the customer and just making them feel comfortable as we're entering the house. Our guys do a great job of that. I've gotten a lot of phone calls over the last 6 months, about our guys saying, hey, they did a great job. They were clean. They were this, they were really knowledgeable. They talked me through some things. So whatever we're doing, it seems to be working. I'm really proud of the guys and their efforts on that. And Dave and Chris, they do a great job for us. And Dwayne, obviously, as well, too.
I caught a Dwayne story this last week.
Yeah.
They're like, I was talking to Dwayne, and they basically were saying he's not a fast talker and he's not like slick, but they're like, wow, he was like knowledgeable. They were he was deliberate, and his not trying to be salesy and, hey, you need to do it. There was none of that.
Right.
It was just very deliberate, and they were applauding Neil.
Yeah, Dwayne.
No, nobody applauds Neil.
No, I don't get him. No.
And then they called you.
Yeah. No, like I said, that's a big focus of ours, and it's obviously if you treat your people well, they'll give you another call down the road. So that's what we try to do. If things don't go as well as expected, we always we try to bend over backwards and make things right as best as we possibly can and all that. So it's it's not a perfect world. So when things don't go as planned, we'll do what we can to make it right.
How long would someone have to wait for they just wanted you to come out in the next week or so to check stuff?
Yeah. A week or so. Yeah.
All right. So if they called 802-4287,
yep,
they talk to you wherever.
Yep.
And it's about a week.
Yeah. We'll get them on the schedule, within a week for sure.
Okay.
If not same week, depending on when they're calling. So we've got, we're busy and the guys are hopping, but we always accommodate everybody. So we get them on the schedule. And if you're thinking about, equipment changes or right now is when you're really starting to notice maybe some hot and cold spots throughout the house and you want to try to address those, give us a call. We could come out, maybe look at your duct work, kind of give you ideas on what some things you might be able to do to kind of even airflow out, which is with forced air systems, that's a big part of it. Boiler systems, making sure, the air's out of the lines and all that kind of stuff. So there's things you can do to improve the heat in the house. And, that's what we're here for. Yeah.
Dwayne had shown me where to damp some of the, what do you call those?
The supplies. Yeah, the supplies.
Damp the duct.
Yeah.
Because if you turn off certain supplies and use your dampers, you can, put heat to the right rooms.
You can. Yep. You can kind of deflect some of the air in different places. Yeah. The only thing you want to do is make sure your people aren't just, I don't ever go upstairs, so I'm going to shut all the upstairs off. Because that really affects the airflow of the furnace, and you can be straining, the furnace and that kind of thing. So making sure, another thing homeowners could do is make sure all your returns are not covered, your cold air returns, make sure your supplies aren't covered, especially your cold air returns this time of year. You don't want to overheat your furnace.
Sure.
Because it's not getting the proper airflow back to it, that kind of thing.
Are electronic and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth thermostats still all the rage?
Yeah.
Your Nests and your things.
Yeah. I think I would, if someone's looking for just I want the capability to be able to control my heat system from my phone. There's a lot of other options out there besides the Nest that are much more user-friendly and simple for the homeowner to use. And we've got a couple that we really like that we would recommend.
I use mine all the time.
Yeah.
The one you guys did this morning when I got up super early and it was freezing in the house. I just went on my app and I popped it up. Before I took my shower, I pop it up a couple
Or you
degrees.
get to work and you forgot to turn it down. You can just jump on there and turn the heat down so it's not running all day. Yeah, it's super convenient.
I want that.
It's great.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, they're nice. Absolutely.
So get Tom a hot water heater before he needs one.
I will. I don't want the wife cold. So
yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, look. Thank you very much, Neil, for stopping by, and we appreciate it. We'll get people to call you 802-4287, 802-4287. Give the boys a call today and take care of your HVAC.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Have a great day.
Yes.
Okay. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Eric Boehm. He's the owner of Full Phase Gutters right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is the last bastion of good talk radio.
Oh my gosh.
In 2024.
You can't help yourself.
Well, I know you wanted to hear that for a new year.
It's fun. You say things just to bug me, and to bug you, I just need to be me.
Right.
So you have to try. I can just be myself, and you're bugged.
Well, what do you think? This year, I'm going to be in the spring. I will be 60 years old. So you know that in March?
I'm one ahead of you, right?
And you're one ahead. And this was the year that Kelly had claimed that I could get back into a muscle car.
You know why she did that?
What do you think the odds of that are?
You know why she did that, right? She did that just to shut you up.
Just to put me off for a couple of years.
You know, Jim, CNY auction, they got a car auction in the spring there. And
that could be the ticket.
You know,
I don't know.
My goodness. The problem is you say, okay, I'm going to spend, you say it's 20 grand. Right. And then it hits 20, you're like, a little more. Oh, okay, a little more, and you end up spending 35.
Well, I want something that I could roll into like the Nationals and win something. You know, I don't want to be monkey wrenching. I just don't have the time for that anymore.
Yeah, I'm a little like that. I want something that can pull a boat. So I guess we have different, different things.
Okay, you got about 20 seconds. Tell me about Safe Harbor Wills and Trust.
Safe Harbor Wills and Trust. Hey, I had coffee with John Murphy this week over at the diner across the street, and they're doing well. A lot of people making plans every day. They hear from people saying, you know what, we've been putting this off. We've been putting this off. So they're making a plan so they don't lose the house to long-term care, putting things in a trust. They typically start by updating their will in their head, but if you can put the house in a trust and it's not at risk, why not do it?
And you can aask a ton of questions over there. They got the answers.
They got the case managers and the whole deal. Right. So our friends over at safeharborwillsandtrust.com, 370-9977. Write that on the fridge, on your fridge with a Sharpie, Tom. 370-9977, safeharborwillsandtrust.com. Tom?
All right. It's our pleasure to introduce a new guy on the show. His name is Eric Boehm, and he owns Full Phase Gutters. You can see them at fullphasegutters.com. How are you, Eric?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
Good, man. It's good to see you. Now, you also know my wife. You know that she's a realtor, right?
Yeah. She sold me a house.
Yeah, that's nice. And then you sold the house again. She showed me where it was, and I was like, boy, this is a beautiful home. Yep. You did some fix-me-ups, and then you were like, yeah, I'm out.
I was a good customer, though. I looked at one house.
Yeah, that's
one house, and I bought it.
That's helpful.
She didn't have to do a lot.
Did it have gutters?
I replaced them, but
Did you know a guy?
I knew a guy. Yeah.
So, what gets somebody into the gutter business? What did you do? Well, let me ask this.
Yeah.
Were you born here? Are you from Syracuse?
Right from Syracuse, Bridgeport.
Oh, Bridgeport area. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Are you a fisherman?
Nope, not at all.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What high school did you go to?
CNS.
Oh, you were a CNS guy. Okay,
yeah. Cool. So he's young. If you said Cicero, then I know he's my age, but he's 15 years younger than me. So,
well, that's good. And then you still live out that way now?
Right back to Bridgeport again. That's where we're based out of. Yep.
Oh, that's cool. I lived on when Kelly and I were dating. I lived off of Hitchcock Point. You know where that is? Yeah. I was just down North Road or whatever. That was great.
Was that when she was your intern, Tom?
Yeah, she was the intern at that time. Yeah, and then we started dating, and that was beautiful because I could just, I had the boat right there, and I could go fishing right off.
Is that down like North? What is it? North Road? What's that one?
Yeah, Fisher Bay is down there. Fisher Bay Marina.
Okay.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, anyway, I digress. So you're out there now, but what did you do before you got into the gutter business?
Yeah, so I used to just do roofing only.
Oh, okay.
So I did a lot of roofing, and then I had a chance to do gutters, and then as soon as I did that, 18 years old, I never looked back.
Really? Yeah. Okay. So with the gutter business, why did you choose gutters? There's nothing glamorous about gutters.
I'll tell you what.
Good question.
Great question. I love it. Like, we have fun.
Right.
Like, to this day, like, I work with my brother.
Oh, okay.
I work with one of my cousins. My dad's a salesman.
No kidding.
Oh, it's a family business. Look at that.
Dave Ferguson, he's great to work with.
Yeah.
Brandy, the secretary, she's great.
Okay.
So we have fun, and
So it's a family-owned business.
Yeah, sure is.
Okay. And everybody has mechanical capability or construction capability and all that.
Well, we can do gutters. I don't know.
That's it.
But you know your lane. Some people that say, "Oh, I can do absolutely everything perfectly."
Right.
They're lying.
That's not me. That's all I know is gutters. Gutters and gutter cover.
Okay, so when you get gutters, there's two types. Like I go over to Lowe's and Home Depot and you see all these crappy gutters, and I think they're never going to last. But do you extrude your own vinyl or aluminum or whatever?
Everything's aluminum. We have a residential machine, the 5-inch. We have a commercial machine. For bigger jobs. Pole barns.
You make them. You're not just buying parts and pieces.
Yeah, right on site. Yep.
Oh, wait, you make them. So that's very interesting. So you go there and say, I need a 12-foot piece here and a 10, and boom, boom, and so it is very custom.
Yep. It's not uncommon to put up a 100-foot gutter. We did one last week. Like a
100-foot gutter.
That's huge. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, why is a custom gutter different, or how is it different than something going to Lowe's or
is
going
it
to
seamless?
Seamless is the one thing,
right?
Heavy duty, and you don't have to do it.
Yeah, right. So you mentioned aluminum, or is it aluminum? Is that what you said? Yeah. I always thought they were just all vinyl these days.
No, they would crack in the winter.
Oh, right. I never thought about that either.
So what drives someone to saying, I need gutters? We had a house, we sold it 4 years ago now. We had gutters. I hated my gutters.
Yes.
But it never said, okay, change the gutters. They were always where they were. The bends were lame. They always got stuffed with leaves. There was the one thing, well, there were a few things I hated about my house. That was one thing I hated.
Right.
What drives somebody to go, okay, new gutters. Let's forget the pool, Tom. We're going to get gutters.
Well, gutters are a lot cheaper than a pool. Sure. But, you probably needed covers.
And we didn't have that.
So covers come a long way. We guarantee it. So...
What do you guarantee?
10-year warranty on the gutters and the covers that they'll work. And I've been using the same cover for over 10 years, so I know it works.
Yeah. So they don't get clogged, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Oh. Yeah. When you go to houses that you've done gutters on, the water's free flowing right off that roof.
Free flowing, we love it.
Straight out. Yeah. I went by our old house, Tom.
Yes.
About a couple of weeks ago, and the gutters, it's funny, the people that bought our house chose not to take care of it. So all the leaves...
Oh, they're all
okay. And our yard was full of trees. Are down and they're going to have ice build up. I guarantee it.
Yeah, sure.
Because we experienced that before. But I used to go out in the fall and you put your hand in, you pull it out, and it starts to compost and kind of do things in there.
Yep.
So you wouldn't have to do any of those things.
Nothing. None of that.
No. And the fact that they're seamless means that nothing catches in the grooves and stuff that's put together, right?
Right. Yeah. If they didn't work, we wouldn't be in business because probably half the jobs we do are covered.
Oh, okay, yeah. And they probably should be.
And we almost never get a call back for a problem with cover.
Yeah.
Really?
So a lot of gutters, when they come off the house and they go down, I've seen people put those extenders on them, or they go into the ground.
Into the pipe, yep.
Yeah. Is that good to do that into the pipe? Because mine's all falling off.
Yeah, if you have a pipe that works, it's definitely good,
But if the pipe
doesn't
clogged,
work or it's clogged, then obviously not good.
Yeah, that's not...
And I actually... We don't guarantee your pipes. I always tell the homeowner, do they work? We'll use it, or let's put a hose in it.
Yeah.
But I can't tell.
If you had your druthers, what would you prefer? Would you prefer
my house, I have a couple pipes because there were some low grade areas. But if you got pitch, surface drainage is fine. Just dump it on the grass and let it flow.
Yeah, I wish ours had. Ours had the gutter that came out, but then Tom, this will shock you. I hit it with a lawnmower a few times.
Yeah,
I know that surprises you, and it's a good lawnmower. You have that lawnmower now. That's a hefty lawnmower, right?
That's what we get the most calls for. People need new extensions. That's what we get calls all year long. Yep. Hey, we hit it with a lawnmower. Hey, we hit it with a lawnmower.
So do you install all year round?
Yeah. I mean, if it's like this kind of weather, sure do.
Yeah, you can. So you'll take calls all the way through. What if it's a freezing cold winter day? Would you still go? No.
He's smart. Wait. You can tell.
Okay. Yeah. So are people calling now to get booked up for the spring?
If you call now, because of the weather, usually we shut down, but the last few winters have been pretty mild, so we're ready to go.
You can beat the spring rush. Is the 345-6593, is that a good number?
Perfect. Yep, that's Brandy.
Okay. So, Brandy, if you want to talk gutters, and I'm assuming you'll give an estimate or a quote or all those kinds of things.
Yep.
So, 345-6593, fullphasegutters.com. How do you say that?
How many fullphasegutters.com?
Yeah, you call her, and then you'll either, depending on where you live, you'll get Dave Ferguson or my father, Gary Boehm.
Great.
Yeah.
And now, how long have you been in business?
Like 22 years.
22 years. So yeah, give him a call now. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get Eric some business here. 345-6593. Eric Bohm, full phase gutters. Great job, buddy.
Thanks.
Okay, you have a good rest of the year. And coming up next, we're going to talk with Chris Farmer. He's the owner of F&F Bargains. Really interested to learn about this business, Steve. It's going to be right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Hopefully you're not in a time warp and you've made the transition to 2024 okay in your brain, and you found Tom and Steve right here on the local show. We appreciate you hanging out with us. A lot of great guests on today, Steve, as we kick off this new year.
You know, Tom, remember back in the day, because you're old enough, where you used to write checks?
I do.
And then you would write like 1, 2, 23. Darn, cross it off, 24.
Oh, right.
You remember you used to get in the habit? And then I don't write paper checks anymore. So it's all on the online banking. But
absolutely.
It would take a month to stop writing the previous year.
The dates and everything like that. But no, not anymore. And Kelly takes care of it.
I was just going to say, you don't do that anyway.
Kelly does all.
She's the smart one. Everyone knows that.
Everything. Absolutely. Well, it's our pleasure, Steve. New year, new people. And we're going to bring on a guy right now. His name is Chris Farmer, and he's the owner of F&F Bargains. How are you there, Chris?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Well, thank you for being here. So, Chris, are you a Syracuse native? Did you grow up here? Or?
I grew up in Oswego, New York.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You can tell by the way you said Oswego. That was a tell.
I actually love the Syracuse area. I'm a huge fan of the Syracuse Orangemen. Sucks we lost last night, but I'm still a big, huge fan.
Yeah. So, do you still live out Oswego way? Or?
Yes, I do. I live in Oswego. We have a store that I started in Oswego August of 2021. And just in August of 2023, we opened up a place in Liverpool on 604 Old Liverpool Road.
Gotcha. So the original was out in Oswego, and that's still active.
Yep, at 755 East Seneca Street in Oswego, New York.
So the old Brzee Chevy, next to where the old Chevy place was in Liverpool.
Yes, I do remember
up in there.
that.
So that's I don't know the number, but I know that
it was formerly Pacific Health Club.
Oh, that's right.
Because he's from Oswego. He owned Time Buyer.
Yes.
What's his name?
Bob Natoli.
Natoli. Yeah, I met Bob a couple times. Nice guy.
Great guy. Great mentor.
Yeah.
He started off Renovision in the late 80s.
Yes, and then
sold it to Rentway in 98 for $98 million.
Right. That's a good price.
Hey, it's got a nice book out too. I got his book.
I do too. True Visions for Success.
Yeah.
And he actually signed the book and said, "Chris, you have the vision."
That's awesome.
Wonderful.
So what is F&F Bargains?
F&F Bargains is a liquidation company. We're built on canceled orders, box damages, customer returns, shelf pulls, and overstock. Really? We offer 100% full refund policy, anything broken or missing pieces for 10 days, cash back, and then within 30 days, as long as you have the receipt, you can get an in-store credit.
Interesting.
All of our full-size appliances will stand behind for a year from date of purchase.
Wow.
So you sell big stuff and little stuff.
Oh, yeah. We sell all kinds of stuff. We sell mystery boxes, as you guys well know. You did that for the Christmas.
So, that's what Steve did. So that's what I knew of the company, is we have these big boxes, and they were just chock full of useful things.
So the whole thought was we have a Christmas get-together here with staff and family.
Right.
And what can we do? So we went over to your place and said, can we get 21 of these? I think that's how many it was. Yeah. And you guys, sure, we'll pack them. And we went over and picked them up, George Seymour, Lawrence. We put them in the trucks, brought them over here. And every box being opened was like a random surprise of things.
Yes.
And there were really useful things. Like my son, for instance, he's a photographer and a videographer, right? So he loves it. Well, there was a flash in there that was very useful. Correct. Like we had a camera flash and a backdrop so that he could use that. And I think there was a hair straightener and a bunch of other.
I don't need that.
No, you don't need that. You got to have hair for that. But all sorts of great things, from candles
pots
to
some pans that
I got a pan that I use all the time because I'm like all carnivore. So like I'm always frying my steak and everything like that. So beautiful pan. Yeah. I mean, all brand name too. You know,
the idea with the mystery box is every box is designed to be a winner, where every box is designed to have at least 2 or 3 times the value of what you spend, and then 1 out of every 10 we spike to 10 times the value. So if you hit one of those boxes, you're hooked.
Oh wow, that is so cool.
That is fun. So you do good.
Well, I'm just trying to get my head around it because we don't have anything physical that we're showing because it's radio, obviously. So I want people to really understand and wrap their head around what you can get here. So when you say overstock things, overstock from where? Like
say you order something on Amazon,
yes,
and you cancel it instead of having it come. It doesn't go back to where it came from. It gets liquidated.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that.
Yep. So then that's where we come in. Or say there's a warehouse full of merchandise and they just didn't sell as many as they thought they were going to. And they got more merchandise coming in.
Yeah.
That's considered overstock. They liquidate what's there.
So how do you find those places?
Basically, Amazon, all the big box stores have this overstock, canceled orders, liquidation. Walmart, Target, LG, all the big stores, they have the overstock, they have the liquidation.
And you have to call those places and keep up on it. And
there's liquidation companies that are bigger in the business, and you got to get a hold of them.
I see. And that's how you do it. Now, what gave you the idea for this? This is really unique.
I've always been a natural-born hustler, and I enjoy helping people. I have a passion for it. So those two things coupled together, boom, creates F&F Bargains.
So when did it start?
I started in my garage in 2020 during COVID. I just said, wow, I can do this. I remember one day I had about $5,000 out of my garage. I said, wow, I can really do this. So here I am.
So what are you, tell me about, we were chatting earlier about some of the not-for-profit things. Explain that to me.
So the best part of the business actually doesn't bring in any money. We donate all of our medical equipment. Our walkers, our wheelchairs, our knee scooters, sit-to-stands, Hoyer lifts, anything that's for the sick, the elderly, the weak, the disabled, we're going to donate that to you.
Wow.
So if an organization or individuals, how do they grasp those things? Hi, I need a Hoyer lift, and what's the process?
Basically we'll post all the things like we do for sale.
Okay.
And then we'll post all the donations on there, all of the medical equipment. And if somebody sees one of those things posted on ffbargains.us or FF Bargains Oswego on Facebook or FF Bargains Liverpool on Facebook, if you see that, you can call us up. Come in and talk to us, because we will vet you. Because if we find out that you're going to be using this for resale, then we're not going to do business with you.
Yeah. That is awesome. So when did Liverpool start?
Liverpool just opened up in August of 2023. And we hit the ground running. The support has been unbelievable. Can't say enough about both communities.
So what are people going to find when they walk in there?
You can find anything from baby items to electronics to workout equipment, full-size appliances, and also we sell wholesale. So you guys got a little taste of the wholesale with the little mystery boxes.
Yeah.
But we also sell pallets of, just like, we get truckloads of pallets, we'll offer those as a wholesale, right fresh off the truck, raw and untouched.
So those, if somebody wanted to buy a pallet, they could resell if they had an Etsy store or something like that.
Actually, we have stores people that are generating stores and coming up just like I did out of my garage.
Yeah.
They're coming and buying wholesale and making money off F&F Bargains.
That's really cool, man.
Yes.
How big a team do you have?
Right now I have 25 employees.
Yeah. It's like a circle of life. A circle of economy, if you will.
No, because you wonder, back in the day, a long time ago, when you and I worked retail when we were teenagers, Tom, somebody returned something, you couldn't resell it because it was unwrapped and looked dog-eared. So you mark it down, you send it back. No matter it's a loser, no matter what. So these companies determine, hey, we're not going to do that, and it goes to a third party that you
right. Well, a lot of the items. So with the returns, the customer returns was what we call them. Half of the time somebody returns something because it's the wrong size or the wrong color.
Yeah.
And the other half of the time they return it because it's broken or missing pieces, right?
Right.
But there's a lot of times somebody will return something and say it's broken just because they want their money back.
Right.
And there's nothing really wrong with it.
So when you sell somebody, you're total true transparency, right?
Yes.
You would say, hey, this is
that's why we have a return policy, and you
Okay.
can open up those items and check them before you buy them.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
also with the full-size appliances, those are scratch and dent. So somebody returns something because there's a scratch or dent on the appliance. It might be in the back or the side. There's nothing wrong with the appliance, but you're going to get it at a discounted rate.
No, I'm going to scratch or dent it within the first week anyway, Tom. Doesn't really matter.
That is a really incredible business, and I'm really proud of you. I mean, I don't want to sound condescending, but that's really great that you were able to do that during the COVID, make the best of it.
Well, thank you. I like to say F&F Bargains stands for family and friends. So share the bargains with your family and friends. But it also stands for first. Check with F&F Bargains first before you do the big box stores. Because you can save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars by shopping with us.
Tom, it's a fun walkthrough. Tom, you walk through, you're like, look, it is really fun to walk through.
Really quickly, are you open on the weekends?
Yes, we're open every day, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And don't forget about the Bulldogs.
Okay.
We have English Bulldogs as greeters. And I always say they're better than the Walmart greeters. They don't beg for receipts, they beg for treats.
Now, people can't buy Bulldogs from you.
No. I can point you in the right direction,
Well, that's Chris Farmer right there and his whole family, owner of F&F Bargains. And once again, you're up here locally. You are...
we're at 604 Old Liverpool Road.
Right, across from the old Lemoyne Manor that's not there anymore.
Yep. And in Oswego?
And in Oswego, we're at 755 East Seneca Street in Oswego, New York. Open every day, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Well, God bless you and have a great new year. Okay, buddy?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Mark Adler's coming up next. He's the owner of Onondaga Flooring right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back again. It's all fun and games with Tom and Steve as we launch this new year together, 2024. And just a couple of old guys who love local business, right?
I don't know about the old guy thing.
You're the old guy.
I only got a year on you.
I'm going the opposite way.
But you're wasting away to nothing with your new carnivore diet, Tom.
That's right.
You know?
Yes. Anybody know where I can buy an elk? And I think nutritious elk meat.
No,
I'm not that carnivore.
Do you ever have like ostrich or any of those things?
No, I've never had any exotic meats.
Yeah.
I'm full Italian.
Do you eat goat?
No, I haven't had goat.
Oh, goat's great.
No, lamb is about as exotic as I get.
No, it's all good.
People always trying to get you to eat alligator, you know. Hey, have some alligator.
No, are you going to start making beef jerky?
I would like to do that. Yeah, I think so.
Let's
grass-fed beef, and we'll
I'm in. So
get a couple of hydrators. And
I'm good.
Get right into it. Hey, we've got a new guest on the show. His name is Mark Adler, and he owns Onondaga Flooring. How are you doing there, Mark?
I'm doing well. I wish I had something as interesting to talk about as beef jerky.
I don't know if we're that interesting.
What's more exciting than
beef jerky?
Flooring?
Yeah.
Well, let's get your history. Are you from Syracuse, or were you born and raised here?
I'm from Syracuse. I was born here. I was raised here. The only time I left is to go to college. I was at the University of Buffalo. Came back here, worked, went to graduate school at Syracuse University, and I've stayed here.
Now, what was your degree in? What
accounting.
Oh, you're an accounting guy.
So he's a creative guy.
I'm an accountant by education. I love counting the beans.
Yeah. We'll call you Mr. Abacus there.
Sure. All right. Sounds great.
So why Onondaga Flooring?
Well, that's a good question. For an accountant, it could have been pens and pencils. Right. It doesn't really matter. No, what happened was I worked in a family business for about 28 years, and I found that I just wasn't doing what I wanted to do, which was to run it.
Right.
And I went to work for some friends, competitors actually, in the same industry. Wonderful guys. I still talk to them. They gave me a way out of the family business. But I realized quickly that I was not going to be a very good employee.
Okay.
I'm a better employer than employee. At least that was my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I found a small business that was for sale. I knew the owner. It was a company called Manco Distributors. They sold flooring products to people that didn't want to pay very much. And when they did order, they didn't pay at all.
Oh, jeez.
That's an interesting business model.
It was a bad recipe.
Yeah, bad recipe.
Bad recipe. And so what we decided to do instead was we started doing commercial work where we actually furnish and install the materials ourselves, schools, hotels, offices, apartment complexes, government buildings.
Yeah.
We started doing that and did it for about 20 years. One of our customers approached me and asked me if I'd be interested in starting a commercial construction company. Mm-hmm. And of course, I don't really know the difference between a trench drain or a French drain.
Right, and all that. Yeah.
He told me that they needed an accountant to make sure that things were going properly, and I told him I was their guy. And so we started a construction company. So now we had two things. My partner in that construction company was also asked to run and manage a very large apartment complex in Syracuse. We started doing that very successfully. Word got out, and we also now manage some office buildings for landlords in Syracuse.
Okay.
So
is there a carpet flooring store somewhere in the
eventually we got this. So now we have these three companies. I owned a building over on Park Street, a historic building that was designed by a guy named Wellington Ward. Okay. Who's all of his stuff is on a protected and historic list. I made a nice offer for the building and I sold it. So what do I do with the money? I decided at the age of 72 it would be a wonderful idea to reinvest it. And so we reinvested in a new building, and that building happened to contain Onondaga Flooring.
Oh, we get to see.
And so I said to the owners, "What are you going to do with What are you going to do with this Onondaga Flooring?" Well, we're going to close it. And I said, "You have a nice reputation.
You do.
You have wonderful people working for you. How about I just buy that too?" And they said, "Fine, make us an offer," which we did. And on May 4th of 2023, we took it over.
Very nice. Where is it located?
Right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
End of Salina.
1510 North Salina Street. Our old building was at 310 Wolf Street, so we didn't have to move too far. I wasn't sure I wanted to stay on the north side, but I began to like it.
We used to buy stuff from the Paris back in the day.
Former owners.
Okay.
Former owners.
My dad knew them. My mom knew them. And we used to go there as a little kid. I remember playing on the carpets in there 50 years ago, Tom.
That was the father, Lynn Perry.
Yes.
The boys took it over. Yeah. They were terrific to do business with. We had a nice conversation. It only took 2 or 3 negotiations, and it was over.
Yeah. No, you can park there. You get in, you get out. I bought some remnants there for some of the trade shows and things. But you go in, helpful people back in, and this isn't all that long ago.
Some of the people might still be there.
Okay.
That was part of what was attractive. We had a sales team that not only had a certain amount of longevity, but they have great knowledge and great understanding of the materials.
So go ahead. I know how much you love the Big Blue and the Big Orange places.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
That sell those types of solutions. How are you different in that space?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I think the people that we have working for us are unparalleled in terms of the knowledge that they have in the products that we sell, whether it's resilient flooring or soft carpet flooring, or we do hardwoods, we can do ceramic tile. And I think that their knowledge of those products is much greater than you would find in a big box store for a few reasons. Number one, the manufacturers we do business with, and they're all major manufacturers, the Mohawks, the Shaw Engineered Flooring, they will send people in and work with our salespeople so that they fully understand what they're selling and what application different types of flooring should be used in.
Yeah.
Residential, which is where Onondaga Flooring comes in. Our company, Matco Distributors, does commercial flooring. Whole different set of rules.
Okay.
And so, excuse me, we expanded our and broadened our horizon a little bit so that it's not just commercial. Now we can do residential. And it's a different type of business.
Very nice.
The jobs are smaller. The people are just as choosy and picky about the work that they get, the quality of the work. We have our own installers that work for us.
That's a big deal.
Mechanics. It's a big deal.
That's a very big deal.
You go to a big box store, they're all subcontractors.
Oh, absolutely.
And sometimes they can be good, and sometimes they can be not so good.
Here's a funny thing about the box stores too. Every time we go in there, it never fails. At least for me, I think they wait for me to come in.
Well,
and I'll say, and I'm standing by the flooring stuff. Hey, and I just start rattling off. Hey, what about this, and they go, Sir, I usually work over nails, and I'm just filling in today.
I have one even better. We did a little work for them as a subcontractor when they first opened in this market, one of the big boxes. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for the fact they had a couple of managers there that were really good and really understood some of the problems, mostly created by the big box people, we eventually said, listen, we're not interested in doing this kind of work. This goes back a lot of years ago. About 3 years after we fired them, I got a call from their person that runs New York State, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Vermont. And he said to me, Mark, he was from New York, Mark, what can we do to get you back into our stores? I said, Joe, let me tell you something. I prefer getting a root canal than ever coming back to work for you guys. He said, seriously? And I said, no, I am serious.
That's terrible.
It's not going to be us. It's not going to be us.
No, there are companies worth firing, and I'm glad, you know.
Yeah, so the experience of a homeowner wanting to have some flooring done in their house, what's it like when they come to your place? Is it, you greeted friendly? Do you know?
Well, I hope they're greeted in a friendly way. I think they are. I mean, I'm an accountant. People
so you're not there. You're not working it.
I'm not. But I'm not. But you know what? I like being there because I'll always talk to anybody that walks in about something. If they have a kid with them, if they have their mother with them. Of course, my advice to the husband that comes in is just keep your mouth shut and say
Let
yes.
the wife pick it
That's
out.
great advice.
And say yes. And I've seen that done many times. And then the salespeople that we have try to qualify as to what they need, where it's going, what they're looking for, and then the salespeople turn them to the right direction.
Tom, that's what the local show is all about, right?
Absolutely.
Local people, local business,
people.
right?
Yes.
Onondagaflooring.com. Onondagaflooring.com. And what are your hours? When can people see you?
We're open 6 days a week from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, except on Saturdays, 9 o'clock in the morning until 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
Excellent. Yep. All right. Well, Mark, thank you so much. I'd love to have you on again. That's Mark Adler. He's the owner of Onondaga Flooring and putting together a great team over there. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, Steve, that's going to do it. You probably want to get home to your home improvements now.
Yeah, no, Tom. That would be you. That would be you.
All right. Well, do whatever you do, and we'll see you next week on the local show with Tom and Steve and Zoey Advertising. God bless you and your families. Take a walk today and every day with your family member or a friend. Keeps the weight down and the mind clear. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1. Then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. You can listen together with a friend because it's more fun that way. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising.